Welcome to my journey.
Alright guys, we're going to go on a little bit of a journey, and basically this has nothing to do with the 30-day vlogging thing that's been going on. This is something I'm going to be doing to keep record for myself. Now, I've always maintained a 32 waist, alright? I know, hard to believe, right? My pants leg is a 36, my waist has always been a 32, alright? Well, since 2000, I put on some weight, and I went up from a 32 to a 36, and then now I don't even know what it is, but the last year ago when I bought a couple pairs of jeans, it was 38. So yeah, I got to make some changes and do something with this. So I'm starting a little bit of a program as far as losing weight goes. It's something I need to do. Now, I cannot do a lot of this shit that I used to do anymore because of the back problems that I have. And I'll explain a little bit about that, but I'm going to start rewinding a little bit to explain a few things. Now, I've always been active. All the jobs I've always had has always have been a type of a job where you're doing something that is manual labor. I've worked in the steel companies, I've worked in warehouses, I've worked in factory work. I've done a lot of shit. Hanging drywall, building walls, installing cabinets, putting carpeting down. I've done a lot of shit as far as electrical goes, as far as plumbing goes. I've done it. And the only thing I haven't done is fast food. I can't stand the smell of those places. I don't even eat in those places. So, that's not part of my weight gain problem, thank God. But one of the problems that I've always have is I don't have a, don't have a threshold for pain. Okay, and it's very high, and that's kind of a little bit of a problem because some of the things that I used to get myself involved in turned to be kind of dangerous, and I just kept on moving on. For instance, when I used to hang around with the guys and sit at the bars, there have been a lot of bar fights, and ended up getting stabbed one time in my left side of my back, which here's a picture. That's the scar of what was left over from that day. And I'll have that to remember for the rest of my life, which was kind of a scary thing because when I got stabbed, and the guy couldn't fight, he didn't know how to fight, and he ended up pulling a knife out. And when he stabbed me, the knife stayed in me as I continued to kick his ass. And by the time he was done, he's the one who should have went to the hospital, not me. But I ended up going to the hospital, just missed my kidneys, and didn't touch my lung or my rib cage or anything else, but luckily everything was okay. Just a scar is left over. But that was a weird situation because when I got stabbed, I felt it go in. I didn't feel it after that, and it didn't hurt like hell. Even after I got the stitches and during the healing process, it didn't feel like it was like really bad. Okay. Now, when I went in for back in 2000, I was working for a steel company, and I ended up picking up some steel. It wasn't really awkward or really heavy. It was heavy enough, but it wasn't. I just twisted the wrong way, and I popped my L4 disc and my L5. I split like a pie. And everything was leaking on the right side. So I started having nerve damage, certain reactions and shit down my right leg wasn't reacting the way it was supposed to be, like my left leg was, but it wasn't a pinched nerve from the disc blowing out. It was basically irritation from the disc rubbing up against the nerve, and it's certain, like if I moved a certain way, then it was kind of putting a little bit of pressure on that nerve. But in the long run, after 4 years later, before I had my surgery, time took its toll, sort of say. And, I got nerve damage in my right leg. But in the process of this, you go through the workman's comp bullshit and stuff like that with the company, and, they're like, oh, you're faking this or you're faking that and shit, All right, well, I had two tests that were done. One was with electrical wires and a basically some type of a machine wand or whatever that judges the nerve damage between one side of your body and the other side of your body, or wherever they're putting these needles in. And that's why I found out that I got nerve damage in my right leg. The second test I had was basically for a test for pain, which is a electronic machine that you stand in front of, kind of like an x-ray machine, and it looks at all the hot spots in your body. So if your heart is like very, very warm because all the blood's going to it, wherever you're going to have pain, blood is rushed to that area to try to repair or fix or whatever that area that's in pain or broken or whatever in your body. Well, my low back and going into my right leg was redder than where my heart was. And this is a test that you cannot fake because it's electronic, and you don't have to explain anything as far as well, this is what I have going on. Especially when you're in pain, it's hard to explain what you're feeling and how you're feeling it. This kind of tells them exactly what's going on. And when I had this test done, the doctor or whoever was doing the test asked me, from 1 to 10, what do you feel your scale is? And I says, 7 or 8. And he says, are you sure you're not a 13? Being in pain for so long, the way I've been, I don't know what my scale is. All I do know is when I overdo it, that's when the threshold, there is no more threshold of pain. I'm just in pain, period. So I got to be careful of what I do and how I do it. Now with this weight gain that I have, it's really taking its toll on me because I've been having a lot of muscle spasms. I do something, just a little bit of something, and that night I'm fucked up for like 2 or 3 days. So it's taking its toll on me. And I know it's still weight because I was like this before, but not as bad. Plus, being a smoker, and also having high blood pressure and shit like that, this is not good for it. Now, before I fucked my back up, I never had high blood pressure. It's because being in pain all the time, that's where the high blood pressure comes from. Now, when I had my back surgery, they kind of fucked up. I had L4, L5 fusion done, which basically means it is a cadaver femur bone that they place in your back to replace the discs. They also went 2 vertebrae up too. So I got 4 pieces of cadaver bone in my back that are fusing the vertebrae together. So no wonder why I can't even touch my fucking toes. But in the long run, when I had the surgery done, they ended up cutting me in the back first and going in there, doing whatever. For some reason, they had to flip me over and then cut me in the front. So from my belly button down to my waistline, I have a nice cut about more than 6 inches long. And from what I understand, they take out your guts and they put them on the side of you. Then they go and reach down inside there and they start pulling and plucking and whatever. And then they put your shit back inside of you and sew you up. And then they flip me over, continue to work from there. So I got a slice in the front and a slice in the back. And then they put 4 screws in my back too as well. Afterwards, I had they want you basically to stay in the hospital for at least 4 days after the surgery. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I couldn't fucking move. My legs wouldn't cooperate, and they were very, very weak. And it wasn't just the right leg that had nerve damage on; it was the left one as well. So there was some complications. And I was also told that I, possibly would be sterile, 50-50 chance to be sterile for the rest of my life, which we all know how that one worked out. But anyways, that was like 2004, 2005. After that, it's been a mess. And between having problems with health and pain and everything else, throwing me back on steroids, I can't stand taking pain medication, so I kind of refuse to take pain pills. They don't really work all that well for you. They make you feel like you're high, but in the more that you take them, but as far as masking the pain is all it does. It doesn't fix it, and it doesn't make it go away. It's still there. So when you start feeling pain again, you start taking more pills, and you know how that works. So I refuse to take pain pills. I don't like taking muscle relaxers, even though I have been taking them because of what's been going on now. So the biggest thing I have to do right now is lose this fucking weight. Yeah. So right now, I started a little program, and actually I started it 2 weeks ago. So I was on this product called Lipozyme. Now I'm not promoting this in any shape or form. I've read some good shit about it, and I've read some bad shit about it, and it all depends on the person who's taking this, what you're going to end up feeling as far as side effects and shit. So this is not a promotion for this crap. You know, you use this shit at your own risk. They require you to take 6 pills a day, okay, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 at night, about 30 minutes before you eat, all right? Now, I'm not a big person for breakfast or lunch. I never really have been, but I do have dinner, but I don't fill my plate. I'm not an overeater, okay? I never have been. And the only problem with this is you have to eat before you take it. So I'll have some fruit now, or like a half a sandwich, or just something to put in my stomach 30 minutes before, or 30 minutes after I take this. And so far it's been kind of helping a little bit, because my weight went from 247.8, which to me that's basically 248 pounds. Right now it's 242.2 pounds. Okay, and I stopped taking this stuff before I went on my vacation, and so I haven't been on it for a week. But there's only 1 week of taking this, and I weighed myself again, and so far I haven't gained anything, but I haven't lost anything either. So today I'm back on these guys, and there is a slight little warning about this shit. The problem with this stuff is it kind of moves your system a little bit quicker. So like after you take it, you eat something, 30 minutes later, you're in the bathroom. Simple as that. So it's basically moving the old out after the new. And I think that's how this works as far as losing weight. So it doesn't have a chance to, like, your body doesn't have a chance to absorb, it doesn't have a chance to absorb the crap that whatever you're eating, and it maybe doesn't have a chance to absorb the good shit that you're eating either. I don't know. But all I do know is it has been working for me a little bit. So if I take it this week, if I lose like 3 or 4 more pounds, it's a good thing, I guess. But you also have to drink a lot of water with this shit. So as far as the Coca-Cola goes that I used to drink before, I've kind of cut back a lot on that shit, and maybe 1 or 2 cans a day. But the rest of the day, all day, is water. Which, just the pop itself is, going to add weight onto you too. Now, if you drink juice or pop with this, okay, it's going to make you feel real bloated, like someone pumped you up full of air. And it's not air, it's just the way this shit expands in your system. That's why I say just drink water with it. Now, I can't stand drinking water, but you know what? If I need to do what I need to do, then I'm going to do it. The problem that I'm having is, say on Thursdays I go out and I cut the grass. Now I'm just doing my own yard, front and back, not a big deal. Walking behind a lawnmower, I've always been able to do it with very minimum problems after, as far as my body and my back goes. Some days are good, some days are bad, it all depends. But the problem I'm having now is basically every time I go to do something, I could be down for 2 or 3 days, laying in bed. That's where it's come down to. Now, I've always had muscle tone. I've always had, a flat stomach. Never had cleavage like I do now. My arms look like I was built decently, not heavily built, but decently built. And really never had too many problems doing anything. So I want to try to get that back. If you don't move, if you don't work out, if you don't exercise at all, you are going to lose muscle tone. And that's basically what's going on with me too, as far as all this shit goes with the back problems, because I can't do what I used to do. I can't move around like I used to move around. Now, I found out through one of my friends that goes to the gym that I used to go to years ago. They're still around, and they have now a program where they have instructors that can help you, and they're trained for people who have back issues, shoulder issues, elbow issues, wrist issues, leg issues, whatever. They're trained for those situations. So the problem that I have as far as going back into doing exercise goes, I used to do a lot of bench pressing, I used to do a lot of curls, and I used to do a lot of pull-ups. The problem with this is the pull-ups, the bench pressing, the curls. can't lay on my back very comfortably anymore. Adding more weight to me is going to bother my lower part of my. So there's a big problem with trying to exercise. So what I need to do is basically get myself down to a certain weight limit before I become active or try to become active again. And so here it is. I've already spoke with my doctor about this, and he's not approving it. He just says, walk a lot and eat a lot of fruit and vegetables and stay away from the breads, the pastas, the pizza. If you do eat stuff like that, minimal, don't eat a lot. And I'm like, what I do now? I don't eat a lot of shit. So the weight gain is from the goddamn steroids, period. Nothing I can do about it, but try to get rid of it now. So that's my journey that I'm going on. If you guys want to follow, that's great. If not, that's fine too. Not a big deal. So again, I'm not promoting this shit. If you want to take this stuff, you take it at your own risk. And I've got nothing against other people who are overweight as well. I've got a lot of friends that are overweight, and if they don't have health issues that it's bothering them or whatever, if they're comfortable with it, then so be it. That's fine. Nothing against anybody who by looks or anything else. This is basically something I need to do for myself. And if I don't do it for myself, I could possibly end up in a wheelchair. And I don't feel like having that happen. I've taken care of my daughter for a while now, and I'm still too young for her to start taking care of me. So, you guys take it easy, have a good one, and I'll catch up with you later.